This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports Chaco. We're delighted to join once again with the hammer, Padraig McCrory. Obviously buzzing. We've just obviously watched you in the gym today. Your fight just been announced as well, so I guess it's given you that get up and go sort of moment again. You've been back in the gym training a few weeks. Good to be able to be back again.
Yeah, back on a massive event. It's good to be back fighting. It's been a long time. Come back from injury. First serious injury like in my career. So no, I'm really looking forward to getting back in the ring.
We obviously know what sort of happened and stuff with the hand, but obviously tell people what happened. You broke your thumb or you fractured your thumb?
Yeah, I broke my thumb and I fractured it as well. So it was a break and a fracture in two different places. It happened during sparring. There wasn't long left to spar. I just threw a shot. I was helping someone out and I broke my hand.
And I guess obviously that's the thing with boxing nowadays. That nothing nearly is sort of given in this sport. 5 years obviously just passed as a pro as well, and you're going to be returning back to the venue where it all started. Do you sort of, I guess they always say you never forget your debut, but obviously it's good to get back. Like, it's 4 years coming up now as well since the last show in the SSE which you were on, so it's good to get back to the SSE and a full arena as well.
Yeah, the SSE, like when I first signed pro, was my favourite venue. It's a great venue. Initially I thought I would have been very lucky to fight there once, and now this is my third time on it. What a place to fight, soaked in history. There's not a bad seat in the place, and my two previous fights have been really early in the card. I'm hoping that this one's a bit later on. I'm hoping the venue's full, and I'm looking forward to soaking up the atmosphere.
Because obviously I didn't know you when obviously you made your debut. Obviously Jacob Lucas, and we obviously became friends very soon after. You're supposed to obviously appear in the Frampton Good Areas card that ended up getting pulled, but you sort of look back on it and I know you've sort of been frustrated at times at fights and stuff haven't went through, but this is now your 14th fight in 5 years, and 2 years have been a pandemic as well, so I guess you sort of can't look at it sort of in a bad way. It's all good, but you've obviously had failed fights and stuff come through obviously at the start of your career. Is it probably that persistence now that's sort of leading to these big moments you're getting?
Yeah, probably. Like in my youth, I probably would have threw a head up and walked away. But I've stuck with it. I've kept training. I've kept getting better. I'm 34 next week. I'm 13 and 0. 5 years as a pro. Obviously, I would have liked to have some more fights. But listen, when I first signed pro, if I'd have knew that I would have been here now, I would have bit your hand off.
I guess it's sometimes you look back and you capture everything you've been through. Sometimes you get caught in the moment, and people don't want to fight you. You're obviously too high of a risk for, as they say, like a low reward. You sort of just have to keep churning through, bad times you can sort of get in the sport and go, well, you know what? I'm obviously fighting on what I think this is your fourth Mick card, isn't it? Failed twice. This SSE second time. So you fought. Obviously, this could be your fourth fight on a Conlan card, which is probably he's probably going to go down as obviously one of Ireland's greatest boxers as well. So when you look back in years and obviously Faker and the other kids are growing up and you're going, well, I boxed for Mick Conlan. Yeah. It's them wee memories that are sort of helping to prolong your career as well.
Yeah. So people like Frampton and Burnett and now McCollum, this is my fourth time appearing on a show, and listen, it's a massive pleasure because they bring big numbers. My profile builds through them as well, and I just love being part of it.
And obviously your opponent, Mexican Marco Antonio Perabin. What do you know of obviously your opponent? We know he's obviously a former world title challenger as well. I guess you wanted obviously a good opponent to come back to as well.
Yeah, he fought 2 weeks ago. He had a knockout in the 11th round, so he'll be relatively he's been more active than me. He's only been beat by very good fighters in James DeGale, Joshua Buatsi, Sergio Pica for a world title in a majority decision. So he's very experienced. He's boxed at a much higher level than me. But where I am in my career, I think it's a fight that I need to take. It's a risk I need to take, and when I win, it'll be worth all the risk.
It's good to obviously hear a bit of confidence from you there as well. Obviously, you passed every test with flying colours. Sometimes you sort of you downplay your sort of talents at times, but you know you're called the Hammer for a reason. You've dynamite in both hands. You know, you obviously firmly believe now that obviously if you land on someone, they're going down, and that's it.
Yeah, like I'm becoming more and more confident. I look back at my last 3 fights, and there were 3 opponents that had never been stopped before, and I stopped them all. And not to sound big-headed or disrespecting, but I kind of made it look easy. And they're all tough boys, so I gotta get confident. I gotta be confident in what I can do, and I'm starting to believe it.
And obviously, we've been back at the SSE as well. 6th of August is, you know, the homecoming for Mick. We obviously had him on last week for obviously an interview, and he sort of talked at good length about the Leewood defeat and things like that. As obviously, the 6th of August is going to be a really special night for Belfast boxing, Irish boxing in general. And obviously, it's really, really good for you to be a major part of that show as well. Do you sort of now look at this? You're turning 34. You're sort of rolling the dice to see how far you can sort of push yourself to the limit.
Yeah, Mick was involved in probably the fight of the year, in a great fight with Leewood, 90 seconds away from becoming champion of the world. But listen, boxing's one of those sports where a punch can change anything. But I still firmly believe that Mick's going to go on and achieve massive things in the sport, and I hope that I can kind of jump along with the journey, and hopefully get fights in different venues with him as well. And to be part of a big part of that now, I've worked my way up the card, and I started in the prelims, and I'm starting to move up the card, live TV slots and stuff now. So it's good to be to be that sort of one of the main attractions of the show now.
I guess it's sort of still a bucket list sort of thing, is to top a card yourself. Obviously, you know, you're mandatory for the EBU EU title. Obviously, I know the opponent's going to be fighting in July, so obviously get through the test in the SSE, and then you could potentially headline the card in, say, the Ulster Hall at the end of the year.
Well, there's been whispers of another show if I pass this test, and potentially I can top that show for an EBU title, which would be massive for me. So I think I'm on the verge of some big fights, and at the end of the day, I started boxing to see how far I could go, and as I say, I passed every test. I keep stepping up, I keep proving everybody wrong, and I'm going to continue to do that.
What do you think's obviously helping you to bring that test? Because obviously now that you're realising your power does a lot of damage, what's giving you the confidence now? Is it just the fact that you probably know you have a shelf life left in the sport, and you obviously you don't want to sort of look back and regret and go, I wish I had one more fight, I wish I had one more fight? Is it just the fact now you're going, let's push it, let's see how far we can go, and then obviously then look at it then? I
think it's been a lot of hard work from me and my team around me. Back in my career, I had Ray Gilney and Mark Gilney. I had D as well at the start, and now I have loads of people around me, loads of sponsorship, loads of support, and they're all pushing me on to achieve more than I thought I could. And now I'm starting to believe that. Now I can see what I can do. I'm ranked 7th in the world with WBA, and I'm probably only a fight or two away from a massive fight, and that's given me the drive and hunger to say, well, I get in and I done it and I achieved my dreams.
You know, being highly ranked with the WBA as well, you could potentially fight for a world title that easy, obviously, when you are top 15 ranked. I know obviously Canelo's going to be defending the belts against Triple G in September, but there could potentially be the WBA call for him obviously to fight for their belt next, and you could be fighting obviously one of the pound for pound greats. It's crazy how the sport goes.
Yeah, I'm in a position now where anything's possible. A world title shot is possible. Obviously, I'm from Ireland, and I'm not I'm not known on the big stage, but I believe I just need a chance to try and prove something. And I'm potentially some of the fights and some of the names that you can talk about are insane, but I would love a chance of I've shown that I'm ready to take them chances when I agreed fights with other highly world ranked fighters, and yeah, they're all possible.
You sort of want to look back in years to come, and sort of people's going, we want to do a movie on you, we want to do a book, and you know, it's sort of coming from sort of nowhere in the sport, obviously 4 years out of the sport, coming back, getting a bit of a love for the sport, and now it's like a drug, you're addicted to it, and I guess that sometimes you just feel like you're 24 coming rather than 34.
Yeah, like I always wish I was a few years younger, but I'm a firm believer as well. I wouldn't have got these opportunities all them years ago. I think you just need to look at Paddy Gallagher. He was one of the only pros about Belfast, and he struggled to get opportunity because big shows weren't coming to Belfast, but now they are. So if I had been 5, 6, 7 years younger, these opportunities weren't about. So I'm living in the moment, and I'm taking every opportunity I can get.
Definitely as well. Well, obviously we know it's under 8 weeks now to go until the fight. We'll obviously, I'm sure, no doubt, be in Glen Gym here nearly on a weekly basis, sort of obviously interviewing people as they're getting more fights. We'll obviously look forward to seeing you move 14-0 on the 6th of August.
Yeah, that's the plan. Moving on, a big finish of 2022.
Right. Well, thanks very much for your time, Paddy, and we'll catch up with you soon.